This is LeetCode challenge 169 and it's called majority elements. So given an array called nums of size n, return the majority elements. The majority element is the element that appears more than half of the times. So if n is 10, n divided by 2 is 5, meaning if one element appears more than 5 times, then it's the majority element. And we may assume that the majority element always exists in the array. So there won't ever be a situation where none of the elements appears more than n divided by 2 times. So here is my solution, very simple. At first, I create a variable called val and I set it to -1. So -1 here is a wrong value. I'm aware because I intend to return the majority elements through this variable here. According to the constraints, I believe the value of nums can be anywhere from negative 10 billion and positive, I think, 10 billion. The size of the variable, the vector nums, if I'm not mistaken, because n here, they say is, n here is nums.length. So this is the length of the variable. And n is anywhere from 1 to, I think, 50,000, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't want to do too much processing because 50,000 is already a lot. In my case here, once I have this val variable, I'm creating an unordered map. So this is pretty fast in C++, and this map is going to store pairs of integers. So the keys are going to be integers, and the values will also be integers. The name of the map is m. Now I need to process my vector here because I don't know what the values are. So I need to go through my vector from beginning up until I find the majority elements. It doesn't have to be the end. Once I find the majority elements, I can exit my loop and return that element through val. So how I'm finding these majority elements is done here, these lines. At every iteration, I'm going to add this value here. So the current value in the vector nums index I, I'm going to store it inside of my map. So basically, the key inside of the map is going to be the element at position I from nums. So nums I is going to be a key inside of the map m. And then I'm going to increment the count by 1. So we're going to have the key as the value from the vector at the current iteration, and the count of that value is going to be 1 at first. If we meet it again, it's going to be 2, and then it's going to be 3, and so on. So what I'm doing here is called a pre-increment, meaning I first increment the count of that element inside of my map, and then the incremented value is what I use to compare here. So I'm saying if the count, the updated count of that element is greater than nums.size, that is the size of the vector, divided by 2. Right now we are doing this thing here. We are checking how many times it appears to see if it's a majority element. And if it is, then the value of val here, this variable, is going to be equal to this majority element. Because if this is true, it means that the current element at index I in the vector is the majority element. So we now store that in val, and then we break and exit the loop. If we still haven't found the majority element, then this if statement will fail, and we'll keep processing over and over. So I hope you guys get it. If you don't, just ask me in the comment section. Otherwise, let me just run this code. Let's see what happens. So here we see that 3 appears twice in a vector of size 3. So if it appears twice, that is 2 times. 2 is more than half of 3. So 3 here is the majority element. Let's try it with this sample test case. I believe in this case we have the number 2 appearing 4 times and the number 1 appearing 3 times. So the output, the majority element here, is 2. So now let's submit this test case, this whole challenge for the solution. And we've passed this LeetCode challenge. The name of this LeetCode problem was majority elements. You can find it in my LeetCode playlist for coding interview questions on my channel. The number is 169. So if you like my solution in C++, please subscribe to my channel and I'll catch you next time.